Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, we're back with Xenoblade Chronicles, and today's video is very special because I've got some recapping, refreshing, and catching up to do before I start Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on December 3rd over at twitch.tv/DeeBeeGeek. Yes, I'm finally continuing the Xenoblade Chronicles journey, and honestly, there's so much I can't remember. So today we're going to do a reaction to a recap video, everything I need to know before going into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, in a previous video, I announced that I am going back into Torna, where I left off in the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I want to play that, continue it, and finish that before we start Xenoblade Chronicles 3 also. So there's a lot of Xenoblade content hitting the channel before my big return to Twitch, and I'm excited, and I hope you are too. So today's video, as I said, is a refresher course for me to remind myself of the beauty and the shocking moments of Xenoblade Chronicles and where we are now before getting into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So VTech88, shoutouts to you, my good friend, and also the God Mod over on Twitch. Thank you for giving me a document breaking down certain elements of this video that I should react to and shouldn't react to. So he's given me a timestamp on where I should start to avoid any spoilers and where I should end to avoid any spoilers. So we're going to make sure we're spoiler free in this video as well, and that's important. Anyway, I hope that gets you excited. If you guys are excited for the return of Xenoblade Chronicles, make sure you do leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, make sure you do follow me on Twitch so you don't miss my return stream and of course the beginning of our Xenoblade Chronicles 3 journey. All that being said, let's check out this video.
Ether is the Xenoblade equivalent of life energy.
Shulk and Ryan.
It's known in-universe as the building block of all life and can be harnessed for use in magic, weaponry, and more. If you have played Final Fantasy VII, think of it like the life stream and Mako.
Yeah.
The reason I'm explaining this here and
That's
now
a nice
is
comparison.
because a lot of things make more sense if you have this understanding in the back of your mind. Now then, with this fancy schmancy timeline made by one Tom Arnold, to help make things easier to understand.
That's pretty cool. So we have Xenoblade Chronicles 1. The beginning, right? Okay, no, that's Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay, now I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. Xenoblade Chronicles Torna is here. That takes place before 2. Okay, all right, let's just watch it.
And I'm going to ask you to bear with me as we cover everything that happened in Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, Torna the Golden Country, and Future Connected. Now, the place to start the overall Xenoblade time.
Why did he say it in that order?
From a video game, but rather the back of a Japanese-only model kit of one of the mechs from Xenoblade 2.
Wait, what? Hold your horses there, buddy.
Now, the place to start the overall Xenoblade timeline doesn't actually come from a video game, but rather the back of a Japanese-only model kit of one of the mechs from Xenoblade 2. In the beginning of the 21st century, scientists found a very technologically advanced perpetual motion machine in Africa.
So this is part of a model mech? This description? This is where it began. Wow, that's already blown my mind. I didn't know that.
Machine would later be known as the Conduit, and it became a major object of study. 10 years after its discovery, it was found that the Conduit was actually a meta-universe manifold, meaning it connects multiple universes together on top of being incredibly powerful. In response to this, the unified world government created 3 space stations, 3 space elevators, and an orbital ring around the planet, all with the express purpose of studying the Conduit in a safe environment. To facilitate this, a group of AI known as the Trinity Processors was implemented to help govern the Conduit. Eventually, a group of rebels known as the Savarites attacked the orbital station Radamanthus, the station that stored the Conduit. Equipped with a god complex and no hope for humanity, a scientist studying the...
Okay, so just to... I'm going to be pausing this video because I need to process everything at the right pace, because there's going to be a lot of information thrown at me here, and I'm trying to remember some stuff as well in the meantime. But what I know is this was towards the final moments of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is when we got that big connection between 1 and 2. This is one of the most mind-blowing parts of my Xenoblade Chronicles journey. I remember it vividly because it just... it just kept blowing my mind. I like how this is being explained. I'm taking it in.
A conduit named Klaus attempts to use it in an experiment to create a new universe. His fellow scientist, Galea, tries to stop him but is ignored. Klaus activates the machine and the world is destroyed. Humanity is shot into various different universes, with the only things left being the destroyed remains of society and half of Klaus, his mind and body split in two. While one half was brought into the new universe he created, the half that stayed behind is able to bear witness to not only what he created, but also what he's destroyed. Remorseful of his actions, Klaus floods the planet with a sea of clouds meant to break down the ruined world and restore it to its natural state. He then recreates life using what would later be known as core crystals, which developed into Titans. Titans would then give birth to new life over the course of millennia. In order to prevent someone like him from ruining this new world, Klaus implemented the Blade system, meant to prevent stagnation and continue evolution. He intended to use all three of the Trinity processors, Ontos, Logos, and Pneuma, to manage the system, but Ontos disappeared in a space-time transition event, leaving only Logos and Pneuma to do it. As time passed, Klaus would watch as this new world bloomed, hoping it would avoid the faults of the one that came before. He would eventually become known to the people of this world.
Shop Amazon Black Friday deals.
Really? So I do like how the beginning was explained, because now when you play these games for the first time and stuff starts getting explained towards the end of each game, usually they leave it to like the final chapters to really mess with your head and like blow your mind a little bit and make the connections to the games and stuff. So it's nice to kind of get that connection like immediately. So it's a nice like a chronological explanation, which I kind of like, because it makes it easier for my brain to put the pieces together. What are you doing, son? I dressed up. Look at that. Oh. Okay, so I have a visitor. Hey, look at his outfit. Oh my god, you're so cute. We can't with you, son. What are you wearing, silly man? Sorry about that. Alright, so since I haven't finished Torna, I'm going to give that a skip. I don't want to see any more because I don't want to get spoiled on it. I'd rather see it myself while I'm playing through the game. So we're going to go straight to 8 minutes 30, which is going to explain Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I have played in its entirety.
We move on to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 proper. 500 years later, we open on a salvager named Rex and his Titan grandfather Azurda. They bear witness to the death of another Titan off in the distance.
So it's been 500 years since the events of Torna. Okay, got it.
World of all rest, land is limited and continually dwindling with every Titan that dies, leading to conflict between various countries. Currently, the Kingdom of Uraya and the Empire of Morardain are at the brink of war as a result of the dying Ardanian Titan. Rex is summoned by the corrupt chairman of the Argentum Trade Guild, Bana, and he is given a job offer by Jin, Malos, and a Gormati named Nia. A boat salvaged from the bottom of the Cloud Sea is raised, and they enter. Rex, being a Litharian, is required to open the door to a chamber containing Pyra. He notices a glowing green crystal and tries to touch it, but is killed by Jin for doing so. Rex finds himself in Pyra's memories of Elysium, the place at the top of the World Tree, and they agree that in exchange for Pyra resurrecting Rex, he will take her there. Back in the real world, Pyra's body is removed.
I forgot Rex fucking died, bro. That's so early on in the game as well. I think I was so much like in disbelief of it happening that it just didn't happen in my memory. But yeah, he was Jin killed me. What the Jin?
From the ship. Malos orders Nia to kill all the witnesses, to which she protests. Pyra then awakens and Rex is resurrected. Working together, they try to fight Malos, but are quickly defeated.
That's an epic scene.
Nia, with her blade Dromark, grab the pair and make a run for it, jumping onto Azurda's back. They crash land in Gormott, where Azurda seemingly dies. However, he instead returns to a tinier baby state and now rides around in Rex's helmet for some good old role reversal. They travel to the nearby town of Torgoth, where they are cornered by Ardanian soldiers and Bridget, the blade belonging to the...
Bridget.
Nia and Dromark are captured, but Rex and Pyra are saved by the Napan Tora. Tora, unable to bond with a core crystal, created an artificial blade he named Poppy. The four of them team up and go to save Nia and Dromark before they can be executed. During the escape, they are again confronted by Bridget, this time with Morag in tow, but Rex and company are able to escape. Boarding a ship headed for the World Tree, they are then stopped by a giant robotic serpent named Ophion, an artifice once wielded by Mithra that now attacks anyone who approaches the World Tree. In the ensuing chaos, they are swallowed by the Orion Titan. Inside, they meet Vandam, an Orion in charge of a mercenary guild, who teaches Rex and Pyra how to fight better as a team. They are then attacked by a member of Torna named Akos, who retreats after being bested by Vandam.
Oh, Vandam.
Vandam offers to take the crew to
I think
the
I just
Orion
called him
capital
Vandam.
to meet with a friend that can help them. Along the way, they meet a little turtle named Turters and are also attacked by the owner Zeke and his blade Pandoria.
Oh, Zeke,
However,
I love
the
Zeke.
pair is quickly defeated by their own idiocy. Once at the capital, they meet with a young girl named Iona and her caretaker Cole, a blade-turned-playwright. That night, Akos returns and kidnaps Iona, telling Pyra to meet him at the place where Adam first awakened the Aegis. The party fights Akos, now with Malos, and are soon overpowered due to Akos disrupting the flow of ether. Vandam impales himself with his weapon.
Oh, the sacrifice.
Pyra transforms into Mithra, who easily destroys Akos and Malos' blades, forcing them to retreat. After Vandam's funeral, Cole gives Rex his blade weapon and tells him that his driver would be able to help them. The party makes a stop in Moradane, where they meet with Mui Mui, a former lab assistant to Tor's father and grandfather. That night, someone starts attacking the town, and upon investigating, they find it is Lila, the artificial blade made by Tor's patriarchs. Lila escapes, and Morag asks the team to assist in locating her. After doing some research, it's discovered that someone has been shipping materials to an old factory on the Titan. On the way there, they are attacked by Zeke and Pandoria again. Inside the building, they find it's being used to mass-produce artificial blades, and that Tora's father is being forced to oversee it. Mui Mui then steps in to reveal he actually works for Bana, and that the artificial blades are being sold to Torna. The team is able to free Lila from their control, upgrade
that was sad, yeah.
Poppy, and
it was like her
stop
sister.
Bana. They are then interrupted by Mikhail and Petroka, the final two members of Torna. With the help of Morag and the surprise appearance of Hayes, they are able to stave off the attack. Hayes, now going by Fan Lenorn, tells the group that they have been summoned by Praetor Amalthus, her, Malos, and Cole's driver. They pass through the Lothlorien archipelago, making a stop at Rex's hometown for the night, before meeting Zeke and Pandoria for a third time. This time, however, Morag reveals that Zeke is actually the crown prince of the Kingdom of Tantal. Zeke reveals that he's been working as a special envoy from Indol to monitor and test Rex and the Aegis.
Oh my god, what a moron.
Praetorium. The day after Rex meets with Amalthus, there are reports of an attack on the Tiperantian Titan by an Ardanian weapon. The party theorizes this is Torna's attempt to force a war between Moradane and Orion to break out, so they go to put a stop to it. There, Jin kills Fan Lenorn, and as the Orion army arrives, the Praetorium steps in to prevent further conflict. A meeting of the nations is held, with the Orion Queen and Emperor Nile, Morag's brother, attending. Fan Lenorn is given a state funeral. There, Mithra notes that Fan did not revert to her core crystal, and that her crystal was not the same shape as it was 500 years ago. Amalthus tasks Rex and company with traveling to the Kingdom of Tantal to retrieve the Omega Fetter, the one object that can control Ophion. Before they can leave, however, word gets out about an assassination plot led by Bana, hoping to profit off war. Despite being defeated, an explosive Bana place goes off and fatally injures Nile. In secret, Nia steps in to revive him, revealing a core crystal. Once they arrive in Tantal, Morag grows suspicious.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, we find out Nia is actually a blade. That was... I feel like it was a shocking moment, but at the same time, you almost had an idea. Like, there was these subtle hints that there was something up with Nia. So, like, it wasn't like a super big twist or anything. It was still cool.
Zeke's father, King Eulogimenos, imprisons the gang and seizes Pyra, hoping to kill her to make the world safer. However, due to Morag's planning, the team escapes, saves Pyra, and through diplomacy assuages tensions. Due to the ether accelerator meant to kill Pyra being pushed in a different direction, the blast hits the Omega Fetter and sends the Tantalese Titan into a nosedive. The party attempts to repair it but are ambushed by Torna. Jin reveals his true form, allowing him to bypass Mithra's foresight and even destroy her sword. Before Jin can kill Rex, Pyra threatens to vaporize herself with Siren, an artifice that fires a high-powered laser from space. In exchange for not killing herself and for going with Torna, Jin lets the rest of the party go free. King Eulogimenos tells the group of another Aegis sword sealed away in the Lothlorien archipelago, and the group ventures back to Rex's hometown. There, they unlock the spirit crucible Elpis. Traveling inside, it's revealed that Zeke has part of Pandoria's core crystal embedded into him, making him what he calls a Blade Eater. This comes as a result of a strange experiment Amalthus performed on the pair. This revelation is soon followed up with another one, as Nia reveals herself as a Flesh Eater, one who had previously been the victim of abuse and became ashamed of who she was. But through Rex's encouragement, she begins to accept herself for who she is. Upon defeating the challenge Adam had placed to test Rex, he receives the third Aegis.
I forgot they were called Flesh Eaters. Yeah, I think I remember when I was playing the game when that was kind of, you know, put out there. I was a little bit baffled by the wording. It's like Flesh Eaters? I get it, Blade Eaters and then there's Flesh Eaters because they're like opposites of each other. But still, I mean, they could have used a different name.
Aegis sword, and the party sets out for the Cliffs of Moritha, the titan closest
The Cliffs of Moher! I know it well, sure. It's not that far away from here. Oh, you mean Moritha? Sorry.
to the World Tree. There, the party battles Malos, who, after using Pyra to repair his core crystal, wields a weapon that lets him use attacks with names that all start with Monado.
Oh, there it is!
Malos is temporarily defeated by Nia, before later regrouping with Jin. During the fight with Jin, Rex is able to manifest the third Aegis sword, reviving Pyra and transforming her into her true form. She summons Siren to fight that now Malos control Ophion, and the collateral damage leads to everyone falling into the void below. Rex wakes up in the land of Moritha, the ruins of a lost civilization located at the bottom of the Cloud Sea, where he meets up with half the party. They also run into Jin as he defends himself from a deformed monstrosity called a Goldo. Making a temporary truce, they fight their way towards the World Tree, with Goldos dropping everyday items like ID cards. Rex eventually reunites with the rest of his party, while Jin is eventually saved by Torna arriving in their ship. Torna makes their way towards Elysium, with Rex and company giving chase. Upon entering the World Tree, however, they find it to be a lot more technological than they expected. Torna discovers that the Indoline Titan has made its way to the tree, taking aim at their ship. After dropping Jin and Malos off near the top, Akos, Petroka, and Mikhail stay behind to battle Indol, making use of their artificial blades. Amalthus contacts Rex, ordering him to cease their climb, but is promptly rejected. He then reveals he is actually a Blade Eater, having transplanted Fanla Norn's core crystal onto his body. Using a combination of her powers and his status as the driver of the Aegis, he starts summoning various titans to join in the fight. Mikhail orders Akos and Petroka to leave. He transforms the ship into its combat form and continues to fight before ultimately losing his life. Rex and crew slowly work their way up the tree, partaking in the battle against Amalthus when they can, before catching up with Jin. Having told Malos to go on ahead, Jin transforms into his true form and clashes with Rex. During this, Akos and Petroka arrive. Amalthus, having transformed into a monster after merging with hundreds of core crystals, kills Petroka and Akos. With the party's help, Jin is able to deal the final blow to Amalthus. However, Jin too collapses and dies, leaving Rex and...
God, you forget how many people you lose in these games. Like, it's coming back to me now. I'm like, it's always the last few chapters as well, where they just throw everything in the kitchen sink at you.
Need to chase after Malos. They arrive in Elysium only to find it completely desolate and lifeless. As they explore the ruins further, Rex is separated from the rest of the party, receiving disturbing visions of his friends and family. These visions cease, being the work of the architect. He tells the party of his old universe and how this world came to be, that Malos and Pyramithra's true names are Logos and Pneuma respectively, that the half of himself that was blown into this new universe is on the verge of death, and that he will follow with the conduit vanishing from the universe. Malos activates Ion, an uber-powerful artifice, and begins his assault on the Earth, with the main party rushing to stop him. Rex triumphs over Malos right as the conduit disappears, causing Elysium to fall apart. Pneuma chooses to stay behind and use the remains of Ion to destroy the World Tree, and prevent it from destroying all rest as it falls. Rex protests, but is given the remaining parts of Pneuma's core crystal, allowing him to live independently of her, and forcing him to leave her behind. As the escape pod is torn apart upon re-entry, Azurta returns to his Titan form and catches the party. However, looking upon Allrest, they find that there are no Titans left. As the Cloud Sea dissipates, a vast ocean and a green continent appear, with the various Titans merging into it. As they look towards the new world, Pneuma's core crystal starts to glow, restoring both Pyra and Mithra, and separating them into bodies of their own.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot that even happened. Whoa. So they become separate entities now rather than one. That is crazy.
Mia pushes Rex towards the pair, and the game ends. Okay, that was a lot. And guess what? We're only halfway done. For this next part, we're actually going to double back to Klaus's experiment.
Yes, Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
While the architect was capable of seeing both destruction and creation, the half of himself blown into this new world only saw the latter. A world with nothing more than a boundless sea. Having been brought into this world as gods, Klaus and Galea created the Bionis and the Mechanis, respectively. Galea, having been reborn as a mechanical being, created life known as the Machina, which resided on the Mechanis. Klaus, remaining organic, created various creatures on the Bionis, such as giants, Napons, and the human-like Homs. However, these beings also existed as food for Klaus and the Bionis, as when they died, their ether would return to the Titan. To help facilitate this, Klaus created the Telethia, which existed to destroy life on the Bionis. Some of these creatures were then turned into Hyentia, a humanoid form which could return to Telethia upon being exposed to high amounts of ether. Eventually, the two gods gained new names. Galea became Maineth, while Klaus became Zanza. As time passed, Zanza feared both his potential death and the loneliness of being forgotten. To prevent this, he used his weapon, the Monado, to possess a giant named Arglus, create an alliance with a giant named Dixon, a Hyentia named Lorithia, and a Homs named Alvis, and then began an assault on the Mechanis. Maineth fought back, and in the process, both Titans...
Dude, I forgot how complex Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is, all the different races and how they came to be, and like the pecking order and everything. Like, that's a lot of information to take in. Unless you've played these games, like, this video is no good to you. In my opinion, it's not, because, like, there's not enough substance here for you to really truly understand. Like, even for me now, because it's been so long, I understand it and I get it because I have played the games, but all that information right there, that's a lot to take in. Like, I think if I've never played these games, I'd be so lost right now. Nothing would make sense. Even if I watch this video 10 times, it still won't make sense to me. It is one of those things that you kind of have to play the games to kind of understand what's going on. But my God, like, even those first few minutes there, I'm still trying to figure out, like, if I can remember half of this shit. I think I do. But Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is something else. It really is.
Died at the same time, freezing them in place and greatly weakening both gods. Zanza allowed himself to be captured by the Hyentia. His body, still possessing Arglus, was stored on Prison Island, while his soul remained in the Monado and sealed away in Valak Mountain. Maineth, in preparation for Zanza's return, entered a deep slumber within the Mechanis. One Machina, named Egil, seeking revenge for his people and to prevent Zanza from rising again, created an army of mindless machines called Mechon. Hoping to wipe out Zanza's food source, Egil waged war with the people of Bionis. Meanwhile, the rest of the Machina retreated to the severed arm of the Mechanis seeking peace. Thousands of years later, a group of Homs come across the Monado. Absorbing their ether, Zanza kills the group and possesses a young boy named Shulk. Shulk is then rescued by Dixon, now in the disguise of a Homs, and brought back to Colony 9 alongside the Monado. We skip ahead another couple of years, and we open on an army of Homs fighting an army of Mechon. A Homs named Dunban wields the Monado at great cost to his body, but seeing as the Monado is the only edge the Homs have, he accepts the risk. Alongside his war buddies Dixon and Mumkar, they continue to fight, only for Mumkar to get cornered by the Mechon after a failed attempt at taking the Monado for himself. A year passes by. Shulk spends his time studying the Monado and hanging out with his friends Rhine and Fiora, Dunban's sister. This piece is interrupted by a surprise attack by the Mechon. Dunban, still recovering from the battle a year prior, is unable to fight with the Monado, leading to Shulk picking it up. He finds that not only can he wield it, but he also starts to receive visions of the near and far future.
He can actually
also finds that these visions
use
are not set in
the abilities
stone,
of it,
giving him the chance to change the future. Despite this, Fiora dies in a battle against a new
that
face
was
Mechon
pretty
the
shocking
Monado
earlier
is
on.
Unable to damage. Dubbing Fiora's murderer Metalface in English and a less than okay name in Japanese. Shulk and Rhine then set out to avenge Fiora and Colony 9, with Dunban promising to follow behind once he's recovered. As they travel through Tefra Cave...
What's his name in Japanese? What's his name in Japanese? Metalface's name in Japanese is Blackface.
Fiora and Colony 9, with Dunban promising to follow behind once he's recovered. As they travel through Tephra Cave, Shulk is visited by Alvis in a dream. He tells him that while the Monado can help him change the future, finding the true Monado will allow him to do anything with it. Making it to the Bionis leg, the pair save a boy named Juju and bring him back to his camp.
Oh, Juju.
His camp is made up of the remaining people of Colony 6 after it had been taken by the Mechon. After getting into a fight with his sister Sharla, Juju is captured by a new-faced Mechon calling himself Zord. Sharla joins up with Shulk and Rhine, and the trio head towards the ether mines underneath Colony 6. There, they meet a Thoron, a resident of Colony 6 who stayed behind with Sharla's fiancé, Gatto, to fend off the attack. The group is able to rescue Juju, and in the process defeat Zord. Leaving the mines, however, they find themselves surrounded by several faced Mechons identical to Zord, as well as Metalface. It's then that Dixon and Dunban join in the fight. Eventually, a Telethia attacks the Mechon. As Shulk fights Metalface, he receives a vision. A jailed giant welcomes Shulk as the true heir of the
here we go.
Shulk's victory over Metalface. And a different faced Mechon having its torso torn apart, revealing something inside.
Ooh-hoo.
The Mechon retreats,
into the juicy
and the
stuff
Telethia
now.
flies off, landing next to Alvis on a hill far away. Shulk tells the group of his new vision, and Dixon surmises it takes place on Prison Island, located on the head of the Bionis, giving the team a new destination. After Dixon leaves, the group travels through the Satoral Marsh and ends up in
beautiful
Magna
spot.
Forest,
Beautiful.
where they find a High Entia girl on the verge of death. In order to save her, Shulk goes looking for water ether crystals. While looking by a waterfall, Shulk meets Alvis before being attacked.
Guess who came up with the idea of going back to the waterfall, and guess who was the only person to see it? Dunban. It's all thanks to Dunban. She's alive.
Attacked by Telethia. Shulk is unable to defeat them, leading to Alvis grabbing the Monado and unlocking a new ability. Using this power, they're able to beat the Telethia back, but before Shulk can ask how Alvis did this, he vanishes. Once saved, the High Entia girl introduces herself as Melia, who repays the group by leading them to Earthsea at the head of the Bionis. Taking them to the Frontier Village, the home of the Nopon, they're given access to their next destination. However, Melia chooses to stay behind, seeking to complete her original mission of defeating a Telethia that ended in failure. Shulk and company insist on helping her, with the Nopon village volunteering the aid of Riki, this year's hero pod due to his excessive amount of debt. The party defeats the Telethia, and they move on to Earthsea. Once there, they venture to the High Entia capital of Alchemoth, where it's revealed that Melia is actually the daughter of Emperor Saurian. It's also revealed that she is half Homs, leading to her facing prejudice from some pure-blooded High Entia like her stepmother Yumea and the royal advisor Lorithia. Unbeknownst to Melia, Shulk and the others have been arrested, as it is prophesied that the true heir to the Monado will one day use it to destroy the High Entia. While in prison, they are visited by the High Entia's divine seer, Alvis, who frees them. The group soon learns that Melia is about to partake in her inauguration ceremony that will solidify her as the next emperor upon her father's death. To do so, she must partake in an ancient ritual that requires her to travel through the ancient High Entia tomb. Yumea orders her servant Tyrea to assassinate Melia during the ceremony. Learning of this conspiracy through a vision, Shulk and company gain permission to enter the tomb and put a stop to it. While they're able to stop the assassination, Tyrea escapes. Soon after, the Mechons stage an attack on Alchemoth, with Saurian traveling to Prison Island so that he may protect his people.
Oh, yes, here we go.
The party, having received a vision of Saurian's death, chase after him. There, they meet Zanza, who offers to release the Monado's true power, in which Shulk accepts. It's then Metalface throws a spear at Zanza, killing him, but not before unshackling the Monado and allowing it to harm Metalface. In the chaos of battle, Metalface kills Saurian and is defeated by Shulk. Before dealing the finishing blow, another faced Mechon named Face Nemesis takes the hit, revealing a mechanized Fiora inside.
Oh man, that reveal was insane.
Homs!
So Homs?
No way!
No! 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 No!
Fiora!
What? I watched her die!
Fiora!
Shulk, confused over what just transpired, seeks answers. Melia leaves her brother Callian in charge, who states his intentions of creating a unified force made up of all the races of Bionis. The party heads towards Galahad Fortress in Sword Valley, with Alvis acting as their guide through Valak Mountain. While there, they are approached by Face Nemesis, who seeks answers of her own. Her reactions indicate that she is not the Fiora Shulk once knew, but rather someone else inhabiting her body.
A Dunban over
Metal
there!
Face, Face Nemesis, attacks, revealing himself to be Mumkar.
Mumkar.
Dunban is
I was
able
gonna say
to overpower
Makar.
him, but the fight is interrupted by mass-produced faces and a golden Mechon introducing himself as Ego.
Oh,
Leaving
we
with
know
the
who
Face
that is.
Nemesis, Shulk and company are left with even more questions.
So many twists and turns
After
in this
meeting
game.
up
I
with
love
Dixon
it.
and leaving him with Alvis at the entrance of Sword Valley, the team makes their way to Galahad Fortress,
Sword
only
Valley
to be
was
greeted
fun.
by Mumkar. During the encounter, Shulk stops Dunban from killing Mumkar, stating he now wants to put a stop to the war and bloodshed between the Bionis and Mechonis. He then receives a vision of Mumkar's death and tries to prevent it, but Mumkar's pride ultimately leads to his own demise. Inside Galahad Fortress,
Damn.
they're ambushed by the Face Nemesis, who is now being controlled by Ego. He activates a machine called the Apocrypha Generator that deactivates the Monado, rendering it useless. Fiora reaches out to the spirit inhabiting her body, allowing the spirit to break free and fight Ego, leading to the destruction of the fortress and everyone falling to the depths below. Shulk wakes up on the beach of the Fallen Arm next to the remains of the Face Nemesis. He pulls Fiora's body from the wreckage and revives it, with Fiora finally in control of her body once again. They reunite with the others in the hidden Machina village. The party is told of a path towards the Mechonis and to seek help from Egel's sister, Vinea. While traveling through Mechonis Field, the gang is ambushed by a new-faced Mechon named Jadeface, who is actually Charlotte's fiancé, Gatto. Surviving the encounter, they are greeted by Vinea, who explains that the spirit previously controlling Fiora was actually Mainith, having been put there by her to get Mainith in close proximity to Shulk and the Monado. Traveling through the Mechonis Central Factory, the party arrives in the Mechonis capital of Agniratha, where they aim to confront Egel. Gatto gets the jump on the party and is promptly defeated, with Egel's control over him broken. After being wounded by Shulk in battle, Egel retreats to the Mechonis core, reviving the Mechonis and beginning an assault on the Bionis. Gatto sacrifices his life to protect the group, who are then saved
So
by
sad.
the Machina.
So many
Entering through the vents
sacrifices.
on the Mechonis'
Man.
back, the party destroys the Apocrypha Generator and Shulk defeats Egel before he can destroy the Bionis. Given the upper hand, Shulk is almost driven to kill Egel by the voice of Zanza, but is stopped by Fiora and Vinea. He instead extends a hand to Egel, only to be shot in the back by Dixon, releasing
my
Zanza.
God.
Mainith
Yes.
takes control of Fiora's body and battles him before sacrificing herself. Zanza takes Mainith's Monado and teleports to Prison Island. The island enters into the Bionis' head, reviving the Titan. Egel fights back with the Mechonis, but to no avail. Both Egel and the Mechonis cease to exist. The Machina save the party once again and regroup with the allied forces. Dixon attacks with Telethia, and Callian fights back. However, Lorithia releases a high concentration of ether, forcing all pure-blooded Hyantia to transform into Telethia. The party retreats to Colony 6,
remember that.
where they fight off an invasion. Inside Shulk's mind, he is visited by Alvis, telling him that only he may decide his future. Shulk resolves to defeat Zanza and is revived, joining the fight with a replica Monado that the Machina created. Dixon calls for Alvis to join him. The latter abides, and the pair leave. Shulk and company leave Colony 6 and head for Prison Island, traveling through the Bionis interior and defeating Lorithia. Once on Prison Island, they fight Dixon, who has revealed his true form as a giant. Dixon eventually forfeits the fight, claiming he doesn't care anymore. As the group walks through a portal, Dixon dies. Floating in space,
Just like
Zanza
that.
attempts to see into the future, but is unable to see anything further than his coming fight with Shulk. During the final battle, Shulk manifests his own Monado, making him a god.
Yes.
Zanza curses Alvis for betraying him, to which Alvis responds, "I am Monado. I was here at the beginning, and I will proclaim the end." Shulk cuts through Zanza's body, killing him.
That's cold.
After the battle, Alvis appears to Shulk formless, showing him Zanza's history as Klaus. Shulk asks Alvis what he is, to which he says, "I am the administrative computer of a phase transition experiment." Alvis tells Shulk that the world is dying and that it is up to him what will happen from here. Shulk decides that he wants to create a new world, one with no need for gods. 6 months later, everyone is shown to have survived and made the transfer to this new world. All the various races of the Bionis and Mechonis live in harmony. Fiora goes to see Shulk, revealing that she has returned to her original Hom state. The camera pans out to reveal the world is now built on the collapsed remains of the Bionis, and the game ends. Oh, also, Melia and Tyrea are sisters. You only learned that in a side quest, and I couldn't figure out a good way to work that information in, so here you go. Next up is
That's crazy. That's only in a side quest. Yeah, I think I remember that as well. I'm like, oh my god, dude. It's only now that I'm starting to realize how important the first game actually is compared to the second. Like, the second one is important, and it does tie the two together quite nicely and introduces obviously the main characters of two, but the repercussions of one and the aftermath of it and everything that's happened in between, like, is so influential to just the whole chronological order of the events that happen in Xenoblade Chronicles. Crazy. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is insane. Now, so this is the future connected DLC. This happens after Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Game that was included in the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles that was made with the express purpose of not only capping off the story of the first game, but also to lay the groundwork for future titles. 1 year after the events of the base game, the Bionis shoulder continues to float in the sky. After Melia and Shulk learn that Alchemoth has been sighted on it, they fly up to investigate. As they approach, a laser is shot out of Alchemoth, shooting their ship down. Near the crash site, they find two of Riki's children, Kino and Nene, who snuck aboard the ship wanting to help. They learn of the people who have been surviving on the shoulder in the town of Grandel. While Grandel is made up of Machina, Homs, Hyantia, and Nopon, some Hyantia, calling themselves the Companions, have made their own camp elsewhere, refusing to live with the Machina after what Egil did. The Companions have made repeated attempts to reclaim Alchemoth, but were defeated every time by a creature they call the Fog King. Traveling to Alchemoth on foot, they notice a rift in the sky, and they rescue a young Hyantia named Teelin from a fog beast, a creature that has been infected by the Fog King. Upon encountering the Fog King, the team learns that they are unable to hurt it and retreat. Going to Teelin's lab, they learn that he is trying to find a way to revert the Telethia and Alchemoth to their Hyantia forms, and that Tyrea has been acting as his guardian.
There she
One
is.
Hyantia named Gaelgar, believing that pure-blooded Hyantia should not be restored,
this
learns
lad
of these plans and attempts to kill Teelin. However, the party is able to fight him off, and he later throws himself off a cliff in a side quest and is presumed dead.
Good
Working
riddance.
with Teelin and Tyrea, the party protects Grandel from the Fog Beast while looking for a way to harm the Fog King. Meanwhile, the rift continues to grow bigger and bigger, with more wildlife becoming infected by the fog. Shulk eventually conceives of a way to create a special ether field that would allow him to harm the Fog King using his new Monado replica EX. However, they also realize they are unable to protect the village and confront the Fog King at the same time. Melia suggests convincing the Companions to defend Grandel while they're gone. Successful in this endeavor, they head to Alchemoth. The party engages the Fog King, creating that special ether field and allowing them to deal damage to it.
I miss the OG Monado, I'm not gonna lie.
They still struggle to combat the beast. As this happens, Telethia start flying into the rifts, destabilizing it and weakening the Fog King. Melia unleashes one final attack, vaporizing the Fog King, and the rift vanishes. Sometime later, Alchemoth has been restored, with people gathering for the proper coronation of Melia, finally making her the official Empress of the Hyantia. Melia confides in Tyrea, to which Tyrea comforts her, pledging her support towards her sister and the new Empress.
Oh, so sweet. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I'm being told that the outro actually contains spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so we're not going to go anywhere near that. I don't know why the last part has spoilers, even though this is supposed to be everything you need to know before Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't know. But that was the recap of the entire Xenoblade Chronicles timeline and where it began. It is a lot more clearer to me than I remembered, and I am so grateful for that. So massive shout out to Game Explain for that video. That really helped me to go back through the memories of Xenoblade Chronicles and make sense of the story. There is still gonna be like a lot of information and like characters and plot that is still very much fuzzy to me. But I think overall I remember the main elements of Xenoblade 1 and 2. and the respective DLCs. I am still playing through Torna. I think one of the main reasons that I was not motivated to continue Torna was, in my opinion, when I was playing through it, it didn't have too much of an influence of the story going forward, because Torna is based in the past and it's everything that's happened before the events of Xenoblade Chronicles. So, like, to me, it was kind of like, do I play this? Do I want to play this? Do I really want to know? So my main purpose behind playing Torna is to get used to the combat system of what Xenoblade Chronicles is. Also get used to, like, the tone of this game and its world. And also to refresh my memory of some of the characters that we've been introduced to in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well, which is important. And of course, give us that character background that we need of the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that show up eventually in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, like, my concentration isn't exactly with Xenoblade Chronicles Torna, but I am here to finish it because I've played everything up until this point. And as I said, I kind of want to brush up on the gameplay of these games. Now, I know Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is probably going to be another brand new experience, and I look forward to experiencing it, to be quite honest with you. I can't wait to see how this game ties into the previous, because it does seem like they are trying to tie everything together, and that genuinely gets me very excited. I want to know how they're going to do that and how they're going to explain that. When I started Xenoblade Chronicles, I never thought the games were actually connected, because when I seen trailers of the games, I said these games look very different and the characters are not the same. So maybe it's like a Final Fantasy type thing where every installment is a different story. But I mean, you can say yes and no to that statement, because there are different stories and they do contain different characters, but ultimately the worlds and the universes, they combine together to make this grand story, which I really enjoy. So I'm very excited for 3, and December 3rd can't come quick enough. I'm excited to see all you again live on stream, and I just can't wait to play a Nintendo game again. It's been a while since I've turned on my Switch, and now I have a reason to do so. What a reason being Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction and my recap to Xenoblade Chronicles, everything we need to know. I'm going to brush up on as much as I can going into the stream. There's going to be more videos that I'll check out and watch just to kind of really get up to speed again and see if I can maybe go through my own videos and see how I reacted and how I felt during the moments that were key to this story, and kind of like go into playing 3 with that same mindset and emotion, and hopefully deliver the best Xenoblade Chronicles 3 playthrough that I can for you all. I want to be respectful to this, because I know how good it is and I know how much the community adores this franchise. So I want to make sure that I am worthy enough and I deliver something worthy enough for your entertainment and your pleasure. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and most importantly, head over to Twitch, follow me there, turn on notifications, because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is going to be one hell of a journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.